Hey everyone, and welcome back. Now today I want to talk about SHIB because as meme tokens have been taking off this cycle, there's been a lot of question about, what is going to be like the highest returning meme coin, which ones are going to do well, which ones are not going to do well, all that type of stuff. And so I want to talk about SHIB because SHIB's a really, really interesting token for a lot of different reasons. But the biggest one basically being it's like a utilitarian meme token, which is very, very strange and unusual. And it's kind of sitting in this weird space of like it's built to be a meme token, but it actually also does like a lot of stuff. And I would say it probably has just as much utility as some of these other like non-meme tokens. And so it sits in a really interesting space. And it's also very quite different from a lot of these other meme tokens that literally do nothing. Like SHIB has actually tried to like build something around its ecosystem, which I think is quite unique and very cool. So we're going to talk a little bit about that as well as kind of how it stacks up against Doge. I'm kind of doing like a SHIB to Doge like direct comparison for a couple of reasons that I think will probably become a little bit clear a little later in the video. But I think it's a good comparison because those are kind of the two like originals. Everybody knows SHIB and Doge. Those were the like very much the leaders of like last cycle. They've seen pretty strong resurgences, all that type of stuff. So anyway, let's go ahead and dive right in and get right to it. So starting out, what we can see is looking at crypto bubbles on the day, we are seeing a pretty strong resurgence coming back all throughout the market. We can see both SHIB and Doge, SHIB up more than Doge, but doing pretty well. The whole market though overall is doing quite well. We can see a lot of these smaller meme tokens being the ones that are up kind of more than some of the more blue chips like these, but overall, pretty strong day in the market. This has been kind of the theme of the market lately. It's just really, really volatile. Things go up a ton, things go down a ton. There's so much volume within the market that there's just a lot of volatility, kind of both up and down. So, not anything too crazy here. Obviously, we can see things have gone way up more than they've gone down. Even if we look at the week, very, very insane returns kind of all around. You can probably see the same thing for the month. Even for the month, very, very strong returns kind of everywhere. So, things are looking good. Now, moving on, I want to take a quick look at CoinGecko just so we can get a sense of what we're looking at between both Doge and SHIB today. So what we can see is price between Doge and SHIB, obviously very, very different. However, as we talk about almost probably ad nauseum on the channel, price does not matter, right? Because ultimately, we don't need to see several thousand X for SHIB to flip Doge. Realistically, what we need to be looking at is right here, market cap. What we can see is Doge is about 55 billion in market cap, while SHIB is about 15 billion. And that means essentially SHIB is just above about a quarter of the size of Doge, regardless of what price says. So as we kind of go into the rest of the video, I just want you to keep that in mind of that when we're comparing these two. Essentially, SHIB could do almost a 4x to hit the point at which Doge is at currently. And that can kind of change the risk reward calculations as we're kind of deciding which might be the better investment. Again, not financial advice. None of this is meant to be like an approval of what I would invest in or not. This is mainly just hopefully finding new and unique ways to kind of look at these different tokens and coins and all these different things and talk about is this potentially a good buy? Is it not? How is this one different from another? All that type of stuff. You obviously do need to make that final investment decision on your own. That's not something I can do just because I don't know really anything about your financial situation. And obviously, you need to have pretty good insight on that if you're going to be making a financial decision. So anyway, like I said, not financial advice, but hopefully this is helpful and useful information for looking into this type of stuff. Now, one thing that I wanted to show you before we move on is if you are interested in trading something like SHIB, you can do this on Margex. Margex is really great because there's no KYC, no VPN, and up to $10,000 in deposit bonuses. So essentially, you can just get signed up and start trading. It's really nice. You can see what they do here is they actually trade in batches of 1,000 SHIB, so the number is a little bit has fewer zeros, I guess you could say. But overall, you can trade with up to 25x leverage here, which is really great. As we can see, looking at the chart, an absolutely massive amount of volume coming in on SHIB, which is obviously always very, very good when we are looking for volatile markets, trading and hopefully making a decent chunk of money. So if you are interested in trading, please do just click that link in my description below and feel free to get signed up. You will get that up to $10,000 deposit bonus, which is definitely quite a nice deal. So one thing you can see is I do trade almost exclusively on Margex. You can see I'm up just shy of about 150%. This is a Bitcoin long that I've been kept open for the past couple of days now. I think we can probably do a little bit better. So I'm probably not going to be closing the whole thing. I might be taking profits on the way up, but I won't be closing the whole thing. As you can see, relatively low-ish leverage compared to some of the trades that I usually make in terms of short scalps. So, I'm not super worried about getting liquidated at any point. So I'm just going to kind of let this run, see how it goes. But moving on, I want to go back into comparing Doge and SHIB kind of against each other. And so again, what we can see here, looking at some of these more like tokenomics type things, again, we'll look at market cap, not price. We can see that market cap here is just shy of 56 billion. We can see an infinite supply. We did talk about this in my Doge video yesterday. So, there's a perpetually inflating supply of Doge. It has no cap on it. So the more Doge gets mined, the more Doge there are in circulation. And so that can be, kind of a little bit difficult on price charts in long term, just because there is always going to be a perpetually like sell pressure on the chart. And so we can see that here with SHIB. We actually do not have that. We have a fixed supply. It's much, much higher, which is why there's so many more zeros. But we can see that the market cap is about 15 billion. Again, not too bad overall, kind of not one way or the other. What we can see in terms of market cap is, still very much kind of a fraction of what Doge is. We can see that when it hit its peak, it did hit over 40 billion. So at that point, it was about 55 to 60% of what Doge's market cap was at that same point in time. We can see Doge was about 85, 90 billion. So it was actually a little bit less than half, but right now it's about 30% ish. So definitely some ground to make up here. But the thing that's really interesting here about SHIB is it does so much more than just being a meme token. And I can't decide if that's a good thing or a bad thing. A lot of people seem to like meme tokens because they do nothing and they're just literally for the meme, and that's pretty much it. I think if you go from that perspective, nobody can beat Dogecoin. This is kind of the OG. You've got Elon Musk, who just loves talking about, Doge. He also is part of the Department of Government Efficiency, which coincidentally also has the Doge moniker. So, there's a lot of things going on here with Dogecoin. It's the OG. It's really, really hard to kind of like beat the staying value of that type of meme. The Doge meme was one of the originals, and so it is something that has been, kind of time tested and is well proven. Looking at SHIB, Shiba Inu, definitely very like kind of in the same realm, but definitely a little bit different. It's not totally built off like a meme per se. I would say it's almost kind of like a derivative of a meme, but it still does kind of serve that same purpose, and it does look very similar in that type of perspective. We can see it as a much lower market cap just because I think the meme staying power isn't as strong. But if we do look, as I was kind of hinting to earlier, there's a much, much more robust kind of ecosystem built out around SHIB. It's actually kind of built to do something, right? Like we've got Shiba Swap, there's the SHIB ecosystem. They actually have their own layer 2 coming out called the Shibarium. There's a massively like hardcore and dedicated community behind SHIB. There's a whole lot going on here that isn't just like a meme token that's only for like the lulz, right? And there's a whole bunch of different stuff going on here. So we can see they've got the SHIB token itself. They have the Bone token, which is essentially kind of like a derivative of the Shiba token, but it's more about the doggy DAO and like the kind of the staking and voting rights there, as well as it underpins Shibarium, which is the L2 that they have. And then they have the Leash token, which that's kind of more of like a more exclusive type of thing. They get bone rewards as well as Shiboshi NFT minting access, as well as all this other type of stuff. They are, as you can see, they are going into the metaverse land sales as well. So that'll be kind of interesting to see how that goes. But what we can see is it's definitely like a much, much more like real life kind of functioning ecosystem outside of just, this is a meme coin that's built for fun, and that's kind of what it does, right? Definitely like a functioning ecosystem. They're actually building stuff here, and so it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a hard like comparison between the two, is because both of them definitely were built as meme tokens initially, and Doge still remains to be a meme coin. But Shiba has kind of morphed into this like meme token that also does like cool, interesting things, and like actually has an ecosystem built out around it. So it's definitely a very interesting kind of like dynamic between the two. Again, if we do go back and look at market cap, we can see that Shiba's just over a quarter of the market cap of Doge. And so from my perspective, for 30%, essentially being able to buy like 3-to-1 for a similar type of like market cap allocation, it seems to me like SHIB might be the better option, because they're actually building stuff. It's still a relatively durable-ish meme. It is kind of a derivative off of like Dogecoin. We can see that the community there is massively strong. They do a really, really good job. And frankly, like the fact that something like Shiba was able to make it through something like last bear market, which saw many, many, many legitimate crypto projects get trashed. FTX went down, BlockFi, Celsius, Three Arrows Capital, all of these you would think are like far more legitimate than like Shiba Inu at that point in time, right? Well, SHIB's the only one of those standing. And so if you see something like that makes it through and is actually starting to see a resurgence, as we've seen on the chart, I don't think you can ignore that. And so that's something that I would say maybe just take under consideration. Again, not having the like infinite supply in my mind seems to be really, really nice, because Doge, you're always kind of against the clock as new supply is always being introduced to the ecosystem. So this is something that, hopefully the information here was valuable and useful. Hopefully I've given you somewhat of a unique and interesting way to think about kind of the dynamics between Doge and SHIB. And if you are looking to get into a meme coin and you're looking to kind of get into like more of a blue chip, I would say, how does that look? What are some things to think about? All that type of stuff. So if it was helpful and informational, please do give me a like and subscribe. It really does help me out, as well as also pushing this video further to people in the YouTube algorithm so they can also see and learn more about this type of stuff as well. So also, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please feel free to drop them in the comment section below. I do try to read and respond to all of the comments that I receive. So if you have anything that you want me to see, that'd be a great way to do it. Also, again, if you are looking to trade SHIB or Doge or anything else for that matter, feel free to check out the Margex link. I do also have the BTCC link down there as well if you are interested in getting signed up for either of those. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next video.